Hey folks, Alex here, 95 to Freedom. In today's video, I'm going to have some jam-packed information. What this channel was built around is to figure out how to leave my 9-to-5 job and achieve financial independence. Now, primarily on this channel, I've been tracking my journey investing into high-yield dividends that my goal was to replace my income, and I'm still doing that. I do have a new strategy out for 2026, and right now I'm just sitting on the sidelines to see what shakes out in the market. Now, in today's video, I wanted to focus on what my strategy is overall to achieve financial independence. So I'm going to get really real with a lot of numbers of my personal finances and lay out the plan and things that I'm going to be tracking weekly on this channel. And I'll have it on the tail end of probably a video once a week where I'll be just accountable to the community. So if this inspires you to maybe get out of debt, maybe start investing and build a way to maybe retire early, I hope this type of plan helps out everybody. So I want to share with you today my plan. It's going to be a little bit personal. So the goal here is, as you can see on the image on the right, is to build this 4 streams of income. Okay, it's like the stool that gives us foundation. And I do apologize, I had AI create this. First is we'll talk about the retirement plan. Now, everybody has a different number, everybody has a different need. So currently, on an average, and this would exclude any excessive expenses that I did have in the past few years as we did a lot of projects around the house, remodeling, this kind of stuff, but the necessities, and I'm talking like your gas, groceries, whatever, just to get by. Roughly, we're spending probably around $58,000 a year on what I would call the necessities. Now, the next line item is obviously totally optional, but I don't want it to be optional because I do enjoy travel, I enjoy vacations, and I'm going to put that at $20,000. Now, I didn't spend too much time looking back what we spent this year so far, all that kind of stuff, but this is kind of a ballpark number. So on average, right now, I would say we spend about $78,000 to uphold, the bare necessities, including travel. Now, I wanted to look at it on a weekly basis because really it's the easiest way to track, I think, is on a weekly basis. Now, this is my projection for next year. I'm going to project that we spend more because of inflation, and we'll just keep travel the same. So my target is $80,000 a year, and my target is about a little bit over $1,500 a week. Okay, next, I'm going to hop over to the debt pay down. Now, this is some of the debt that I still have outstanding that I want to get rid of. And this was kind of my plan with this dividend income, is to tackle some of these debts. I had some success, and if you've seen my latest videos, I've kind of, took a pause, and I'm going to have a different strategy on the dividend income side. But what I really need to pay down is the following. I do have a few zero interest credit cards that I need to pay down, which between all of them, it amounts to about $16,000. I still have a car loan, and then I really want to pay off the HELOC on my house. So in total, I have about $260, almost $64,000 in, I would say, personal liabilities that I need to pay off. Okay, what are my retirement goals? And this would be, what am I looking to achieve, right? So first, I have the minimum, which is the emergency. Okay, so emergency is like rice and beans, like, we don't travel much, we just sit tight, we cut our expensive just to get by. And that would be about $65,000, which is about $1,250 a week. Now, my maximum is kind of, again, I don't want to say maximum, like this is all I'll ever need, but this would be like a lifestyle that is above of what we currently have. And obviously, I've spent more. Like this year, I've spent a lot of money. I've spent a lot of money the last couple of years because we've invested a lot into our house. We've done a lot of improvements. We did an addition, all this kind of stuff. We have a growing family, and this is where some of this HELOC money came out of. But really, this would be like a great target for the future. And again, you got to think about inflation, things costing more, cars costing more, insurance costing more, everything costing more. But this would give us enough money for discretionary spending, for travel, all this kind of stuff. So roughly about $2,885 a week. Okay. Now let's get into the income streams, right? So this is the bread and butter on how we're going to get there. And let me zoom in here so in case it's a little bit hard to see. But so this is the four income streams that, well, the five income streams that currently have, and it's going to be reduced to the four income streams. So currently this is my real estate income stream, which I've held real estate for since about 2019. So I have a little bit of experience in there. And this is my annual. Now this is, again, projected, calculated if nothing major happens, breaks, all that kind of stuff. But that's right now about $46,700 a year, which weekly roughly about $900 a week. My dividend income, now I did my video last video where I said that I took a huge loss. So counting that in, this is kind of like what I've done so far, so which it would amount to $211 a week basically. My YouTube income, okay, this is basically based on as soon as I got monetized, and this is projected out into basically for a year. So roughly right now this is the YouTube income that I'm making. And then other income, this is the fourth leg of the stool that I'm looking at. I'm thinking about different ways that I'm gonna. This might be a combination of just like different side hustles, all that kind of stuff. But I'm also thinking about what can I do long term. So I did have a real estate license in the past for a couple of years. I used it when I was buying my rental properties, and then I helped a few friends and some random people out to purchase homes. So I did make some income from that. So that's something I can always like jump into. And if I'm free from my 9 to 5 job, that is something that I could be doing that I don't mind. I find real estate interesting, and I know quite a bit about like construction, all that kind of stuff. So right now this leg is at zero, okay? But these would be legs that I want to focus on to build up, okay? So my W-2 income, again, this would be like after all the deductions, all this kind of stuff taken out. So that's roughly about like $1,500 a week. All right, so if I count everything up right now, this is what my basically weekly income is, and percentage of target. Now this percentage of target is going to be off the retirement goal, off of this value right here, which is 2,885. Well, you say, well, you've pretty much hit that. Yes, but my target is, again, based on these four pillars. So I don't want to count my W-2 income as my retirement income. So I'm really just calculating these four numbers, which would amount to $1,244. So I can show that right here, and I think that might be a good thing to do. So right now I'm at 43% of my target. So my target's $2,885 a week. Right now I'm hitting $1,244 a week. Okay, so moving on to 2026 target. What do I want to do in 2026? Well, in 2026, I want to make more on real estate income. So how can I do that? Well, one thing, I'm going to have a lot of people renew their leases, which I have to bump up their pricing because I need to keep up with the market because all the other costs go up. So, that's going to help out slightly in that perspective, but that's going to be $50,000 about. Dividend income, my target, again, this is what I'll be working towards on this channel, is going to be to hit $40,000 in dividend income. Now, will I hit that on January 1? No, I will not. That is my target, right? So by the time I get to the last months of the year, I want to make sure that that is the projected income going into 2027. So I just want to be clear there. my YouTube income, I want to target $12,000 a year. So that's going to be basically $230 a week is what I want to target. And I think this is very achievable with the amount of subscriptions I've been getting, amount of people commenting, engaging, watching. I think you guys are really enjoying this, and please continue to do so. That really helps me out. You know, I share all this stuff. I don't try to sell you guys anything. I think there's a lot of good content that I'm providing here, so really appreciate you following along. And then other income, my target for 2026 is $6,000. So again, my focus is going to be mostly on this channel is on the dividend income. This is what I'm documenting, building up. I think this is where most of the audience are interested about. YouTube income, I don't think you guys really care that much what I make on YouTube. And then other income, this is just going to be any type of side hustles or like any trading that I do, anything like that that might supplement that. So I just have a target of about $115 a week on that. Okay, so the W-2 income is going to be pretty much the same. I mean, I might get a small raise, but it's not going to be anything significant. Okay, so projected target, again, it's going to be $186,000 for next year. And then I'm going to hit 72% of my goal. That is my target, right? So I love how smart Google Sheets is these days. So by end of 2026, I hope to hit $2,082 a week in this income, okay? Next, 2027 target. Now, this is kind of getting ahead of myself, but that is really the plan. How do I get to the 100%? And you can see I just kind of bumped up a few items slightly, like my real estate income, that's going to move up to hopefully $55,000. Dividend income, hopefully that will move up to $55,000. YouTube income, this one's going to be, this is kind of just me projecting. I'm hoping I can do $24,000 a year on YouTube, but who knows? The thing with YouTube is they can shut me down at any moment, and this income stream can completely disappear. And then other income, I hope to figure out whatever that niche is that I want to do, and hopefully that will produce another $12,000. So with that being said, that will get me to about $146,000 a year, which would get me to about 97%. So really, I'm pretty much there at that point. And then 2028 target, again, we're kind of hoping that the YouTube thing continues, market increase on the rents, hopefully the dividends with reinvesting continues, and I would actually, hit above my target of $150,000. And this would be really, I would say, if everything works out, sometime between 2027 and 2028 is probably would be the time that I would make the decision to pull the plug. So that is my my overall plan. I hope you guys are all still awake. How am I going to track it? Well, I'm going to track it very similar how I track my dividend income. If you guys have watched me on this channel, you see that I use this income tracker. Basically, I just plug in whatever income I make from every single dividend ETF, and very similar on this thing. I'm going to be tracking every single week. So I'll be tracking my real estate income, dividend income, YouTube income, W-2 income, other income. I'm going to be tracking what I'm putting towards the credit cards, towards the loan, towards the HELOC. I'm going to be tracking my necessity expenses, my travel expenses, how much I'm investing every week. And then this way, I can really see where I'm at. Am I actually getting closer to that weekly target, or am I slacking behind? So if I'm spending more than I'm making, then I have to make two decisions. I either have to spend less, or I have to move up my target to actually, maybe I need $200,000 to have the same living standard. So I know this has been a very long video, but that is my overall plan. So I'll be tracking this on a weekly basis, and I'll probably just do like one of the videos will have these metrics, probably on like a Saturday or a Sunday at like the tail end of the week. And if you guys are interested in seeing this report, how I come along, hopefully this can go on there. We'll see you on the next video, folks. Take care.